Well, hey, everybody. Welcome in. It's the Cryptid Huntress. We're having glitches all over the place. That's my MO. That's what we do here at the Cryptid Huntress show. It's so great to see everybody. I know my chat has been hopping for quite some time. I'm so happy to see you guys here. Thank you to all my moderators that are already in the chat and all of you who are watching tonight. I have a doozy of a show for us this evening. I have remote viewed the aliens, the alleged aliens that attacked the village in Peru. Okay, and this has made the news. A lot of people are talking about it right now, and we're gonna go there tonight. Okay, we're going there, and I've done 3 different targets. If you guys would like to follow along with my remote viewing data, you can find that on my Patreon. That's the Cryptid Huntress over on Patreon. Okay, yeah, I actually have some data that is like really kind of bad. Okay. So I'm not going to talk about all this tonight. It is yeah, I'll get my channel shut down. It's one of those targets, unfortunately. And so I went into this not knowing exactly what this was. Came up with the usual, it was like the usual suspects of we're gonna go. I can't tell you right now. I'm gonna wait till I bring Barry up because I have my friend Barry Littleton here in the studio tonight. We're gonna be discussing my data and all about aliens in Peru. Okay, and what this means, because a lot of people were saying this could absolutely be the cartels. It could be miners. Some people were saying it was miners, like gold miners in the river that were dressing up like aliens and attacking the people there. Oh man, I tell you what, this data, I can't wait to share this with you guys because this is so wild. That's why I love being a remote viewer. I get to see things that a lot of people don't, and we get the truth out there. And today we're going to put the truth out there as the remote viewing data shows. Okay. All right. Well, if you guys would like to follow along with what I'm doing, I have a website. That's the cryptidhuntress.com. All of my shows are there. All the events that I'm going to be at are there. All the public events, at least. Okay. And you can find me there. Also, like I said, I have a Patreon. That's the Cryptid Huntress over on Patreon. I want to give a huge thank you to all of my supporters, everybody who is a member there. It means the world to me. And so all of my data is posted there. All 3 of these targets that I did, I actually remote viewed not only these aliens, but I remote viewed the attacks, 2 attacks. Okay. And one of them involves a 15-year-old girl who was attacked and her throat was gashed. And you might have seen that. If you've been following this story, you've seen this on the internet. Okay. Let's say the internet. I don't think it's on like national news. It might be. I don't know. I don't watch the news. But yeah. Also, the other target that I had happened to be, I believe it was that video of the man whose face has been taken off. Okay, so I know some of y'all have seen that too. I'm not the only one. That was actually one of my targets today. Okay, so we're going to go there again. Like I said, we're going to go there and talk about that. And I did remote view that. Okay, so we got War Woman Goods on Etsy. If anyone would like to support what I do, your support is much appreciated. Thank you guys so much. I actually have some packages to mail out today. And so, yeah, thank you so much for all your support, y'all. Okay. Well, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and give an overview before I bring Barry up tonight of what we're going to be talking about, because I have seen maybe one video today or one channel where like there's people are thoroughly talking about this, and I know a lot of people are talking about this attack. And I was actually live on a show when somebody, I think it was Derek, maybe it was Derek Galloway, I don't know, Derek, one of y'all was out in my chat talking about the alien attack that had just happened in Peru. And I remember that day very vividly. That night when I was on, I think I was on Space Out Radio, and maybe a Sunday night. Okay. And there was talk about aliens attacking Peru. Okay. Well, let me give an overview, and then we're going to bring Barry up. Since July 11th of 2023, terrified Peruvian villagers have been under attack by what they describe as a 7-foot tall armored alien, not a armored alien, a bunch of armored aliens. They resemble the Green Goblin and Predator from the movie Predator. The Ikitu tribe call these alleged extraterrestrials los pelacaras, or the face peelers. Ooh. These creatures reportedly have an appetite for humans, and villagers are living in fear after numerous sightings and attacks, including a 15-year-old girl who escaped the grasp of one alien, leaving her in shock with bloody gash wounds on her neck. Villagers have shot at the creatures, and they have reportedly disappeared or taken off into the jungle with discs on their feet. The villagers demanded that the Peruvian Navy intervene to protect them from these beings. The authorities and media in Peru are taking this matter very seriously. The mainstream media in the U.S. and abroad have taken the stance that the beings are illegal gold mining gangs posing as tall aliens wearing jetpacks. So what is really going on in this Peruvian village? Have no fear. The Cryptid Huntress is here. And I have Barry Littleton here with me tonight. And I have remote viewed these. And this is one of my, these are three, I guess it's three of my targets. So please help me introduce to the show tonight my friend Barry Littleton.
Hey, what's up?
I know. We're crying, right? This is crazy, Barry, right? And good evening.
Yeah, thank you for having me on again. Welcome back.
Of course, thank you. Are you telling me welcome back? I love that.
Well, I mean, you've kind of been on a little adventure, haven't you?
I did. Yeah, I actually have been. I went to New York. I was up in New York at Montauk, home of the Montauk Project and Camp Hero. And yes, I went up there to witness the 20-year bio camp portal opening where the USS Eldridge from the Philadelphia experiment was said to reappear on Saturday, August the 12th, Barry. And I was there to experience that. So that was really cool. It turned out to be a very interesting day, actually. So a fog rolled in. There was blue and green lightning, and we couldn't see what was going on out there. We had a boat actually out in the ocean. It couldn't get any action. There was a large space as to where it could have potentially shown up, but when that fog was very unnatural, by the way, very unnatural, super suspicious. So yeah, but yeah, I was there. It was a wonderful time. Super cool week. So yeah, had a lot of Sasquatch activity. We have a Sasquatch on film actually that one of the guys encountered, or a few of the guys encountered. So that was cool. So thank you, Barry. Thank you for welcoming me back. Yeah,
that's right on.
It was awesome.
Cool. Very cool.
Thank you. Yeah. So okay, so I get back and I got this target, right? Got this target, and it has something to do with these aliens. Okay, this attack of aliens in Peru. Okay, of villagers, Barry. So do you know a whole lot about this target? Okay, this was suggested. Oh my gosh, I wrote it down. Who suggested this? I think Val. Val's one. Val in the chat. She might be one of my moderators. She suggested this target a little while back. What do you know about this? Do you have any information?
About where you stand on it. I had seen it, and I've seen some footage of these things and heard the story. And I mean, I don't mean to sound skeptical, but I'm very skeptical of anything I get from the media that I hear. First is it real? Secondly, is it a production? And then from there, that's why it's cool you're doing the target, because I think it alleviates some of that. Now, mind you,
Yes.
the one thing that's very serious is Peru is a hot spot. My goodness. And remember, one of the first targets we did do, I believe, one of the first blind targets I gave you was what's called GCE Peru with Gladys Cordova and that mountain behind her house, where
That's
all
right.
those things are seen. I mean, so much, as she calls them, SIODs, interdimensional beings of unknown origin. That's what she calls them. But I mean, that's just a hot spot. Also, the amount of underground stuff you have going on there, whether it be undersea bases or also underground bases, and also some of the mining that goes on there. There's a lot of minerals and resources there underneath Peru. So it's very interesting, you know.
It is. It's very interesting. Yes, we have some good comments in the chat tonight. I'm going to be pulling some of these up throughout the show because I think a lot of the people who have been following these stories there, they have the same questions that we have, okay, about this. And my data was really interesting on these targets, Barry. And I had seen someone in my chat one night on a Saturday or Sunday on Space Out Radio say, "Hey, there's some aliens attacking the people in Peru." And I thought, well, and I remember saying to the audience, all right, well, I'm sure Marquise at After Hours is going to cover that tonight. And I don't remember if he ever really even got into it that night, but like I said, it's kind of a hot topic for a little while, and then lo and behold, it turned out to be one of my targets. Okay, so we're going to talk about this tonight because there's so much going on with us looking out for some of us. I know, Barry, you say that it's trying to take us towards a bad timeline, but this whole fake alien invasion kind of information, right? That's what I think of when I think of these aliens down there. However, there are people with real life issues like being attacked. Okay, there are villagers that they claim that they've been under a siege and under attack since July. And they have videos, they have pictures of what look like tall grays walking into their villages, and they've shot at these things, Barry. The bullets go right through them, and they say that they disappear. They cloak. Okay, they have cloaking abilities, or they just disappear, and they have discs with red lights on them on their feet, and they just zoom away whenever they're shot at. Okay. Also, they say that they wear body armor, silver bodysuits, which is like armor with armor over their faces. You can see their yellow eyes. Okay. Does that sound typical of aliens?
Well, I'm thinking
Extraterrestrials?
on the videos I saw, there were these beings with these suits on that were lighting up with like these, you know, like look like Auto Man, a show that was on when I was a kid. It looked
Yeah.
like that, like almost that name. But then they were saying also on the video you had sent me, also they said it too, that when they're not wearing those Auto Man looking outfits, they're wearing black hoods.
Cloaks. And I personally have seen an ET that had on the Grim Reaper. It was wearing a cloak with a hood on it. So I know that's a thing because I've seen it with my own eyes before.
And remember,
Um,
you know, the black-eyed children also wearing black hoodies.
yes. Oh, and I have another connection, Barry. Face peelers. Okay. What does that remind you of?
Well, I mean, for me, it hits a couple of tones. Okay, first
Okay.
is the gugwi, of course, which is the face eater as they're known, and I think that also is connected to this, and I'll tell you why later, probably after you go through the data. And also, it reminds me that area in college. I had a professor, and one of the anthropology professors, Professor Robichaux, got to
Uh-huh.
talking to this man in his office a long time, and he had spent some time in like New Guinea and some other places, but he'd been around. He'd spent time with the headhunters and also the head shrinkers. And when he
Oh,
described that, I was, what was that like? He
okay.
said, you know, actually what they do is they actually have these poles, but they take a person's face off. And, you know, your face retains your structure, your facial structure. They boil it down in some sort of a solution, small it, and then they wrap it around one of these poles, and this little pole with your face on it. That's the way he described it. And he said that the chief where he was sleeping had a bag of these things over his. And but it's just things when we talk
Ew.
about that, and these concepts like that. And let me just throw this out right from the beginning. All right, I feel
Okay.
that these are really not quote unquote extraterrestrials. I think that they're from right here on Earth, from either one of these labs you've been seeing underground, or some way they're representing this demonic faction. They're demonic. They're needing the
Okay.
plasma to plasma and whatever else comes with that. But when talking about plasma beings, there's not just energy plasma. There's also plasma of the blood. They're
Oh
different,
my
but I mean, this
gosh.
needs to be looked at a lot. Hey, I'll shut up because you got a lot of stuff to go over. I'm just going to sit back and go for the ride here. But at the end of this, let's bring
Okay.
some of this up and what I think's really going on, because I looked at this psychically. It's a little different than what you do, but I think we come to the light similar conclusions a lot. So let's check it out. We don't even
We
get to
did.
talk
Well,
about it yet. So.
absolutely. Okay. So did you get I don't know if you got a chance to even look over my data. I think you saw the first target that I did, but there are two other ones. And everything you just talked about was hit on that data. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. This is going to be an interesting show tonight. Okay. I'm
Right
already
on.
feeling it. It's in the ethers, man. We're right here. And also, I actually just got off the phone with my friend Nick Sylvester. Okay, Nick is a part of the Truther movement. He actually has a show called The Bridge with Nick and Dylan over on Rumble. So you guys go check that out. He was actually going to come on the show with us tonight, but something happened. There's some technical difficulties, so he couldn't make it. But we kind of went over my data. Okay, and actually let him tell me what he knew. He had some intel on these Peruvian aliens, and a lot of y'all, like I said, you might know him from the Truther movement. Okay, he gets some good stuff. He and I did a show on the Dogman breeding programs, so that's where you guys will remember Nick from on my show, or on my channel. Now he confirmed as he was telling me about what he knew. It was all in my data, Barry. Okay, so this is going to be really, really interesting, and I'm gonna let you guys know as we go down the data what was confirmed by Nick. Okay, and like I said, he does have a lot of good information. Okay, so let's just start it with some of the data, because the first target was like an overall alien. Like what is going on? Are these miners? Are they aliens? Okay, because some people are saying, okay, the villagers, by the way, okay, so Barry, let's make this very clear to the audience tonight. The villagers are terrified. Okay, they claim that these aliens have been stalking them since July. Tall grays is what they're calling them. And they have shot at them with shotguns and rifles, and they don't die. Okay, there's no bodies. They either disappear, or they are zooming away with their disc in their shoes. Okay, so that's what they're saying. People are being attacked. There are people being kidnapped. A man's body, okay, this was a couple of months ago. A man's body washed ashore in the area, and his face was cut like cattle mutilation style, Barry. And it was very similar. Like I've seen human mutilations before. They look like cattle mutilations. But this man's face was completely cut off. I have a picture of it. I may or may not show that tonight. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. Okay. But I do have those pictures. There is a video out there where you guys can go see it. I'll show like a far away clip of that maybe. Okay. So the mainstream media, okay, in the US and abroad, they're all saying the same thing. If you go do a search on this, Barry, it says unfounded claims that these are 7-foot tall aliens. It says there was all debunked. They're cartel or gold miners, illegal gold miners with jetpacks. Every single one of them say
with
that.
The jetpacks.
With a jetpack, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, because they issue those to all miners, of course. Jetpacks. Every miner I see, they go just like every miner I see. Yeah.
I mean, it could be. I don't know. People get really crafty when they're doing illegal things, right? So I don't know.
Yes. Standardized jetpacks
in the jungles of Peru. I mean,
go ahead.
I don't know.
I'm all ears,
I can only imagine, right? Okay, so, and I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but it's just, we're just we're just looking into all the angles of this, y'all. Okay, so jetpacking, alien, and wearing suits of armor too. Like, wouldn't that be hot in the jungle? I'm just saying, like, I'd be a little sweaty and gross. I'm just saying. Okay, let's see, where do I start? Okay, so the Peruvian youth is taking this very seriously. The government, the villagers said they demanded that the Navy come up the river to come protect them and to find out what was going on. So the Navy and the media there is taking it seriously. All right, so let's go there with the data. All right, first target. I was picking up on definitely 100% extraterrestrials, Barry. This target was an extraterrestrial. Okay. The target, it was the overall target of like what is attacking these people. It's extraterrestrials. Okay. It's not minors. It's not people dressed up to try to trick people. These are actual extraterrestrials. Okay. That is 100% in my data. However, I have to say that also what came up in the data was Project Bluebeam. Okay. Now I'm not saying these things aren't real because they're obviously coming out and they're because I did 2 other targets and these people were either killed or assaulted by something. And I also picked up on extraterrestrials with those 2 cases. Okay. I didn't pick up on humans. I picked up on extraterrestrials, but I also, and I am jumping ahead because I just want to let this be known because you said something about inner earth. I picked up on they're extraterrestrials, but they're coming from underground. Okay. So they're coming from underground. They're not from outer space. They're from here. They live here. And
Cryptoterrestrials, remember?
Cryptoterrestrials. That's a great word. Is that a phrase? Okay. They're
That's that book from
cryptoterrestrials.
Mac Toonies that wrote that book. Cryptoterrestrials, about those that live here. Keep going though.
These are cryptoterrestrials in. I like that.
Wow. I knew
Okay. They're cryptoterrestrials. Now, I was picking up on humanoids. Okay. And this one, they kind of look insectoid. But in my third target that I did with that gentleman whose face has been cut off, I picked up on draconian reptilians, Draco reptilians. Okay. So I'm picking up on different races, I guess you call them races of ETs. I picked up on insectoid humanoids with this target, which was the overall view of like what's attacking these people. But on that one where the man's face was taken off, Draco reptilians, okay, or some form of a reptilian. I wrote Draco, but I was picking up on a reptilian humanoid. Okay, so this is not human minors. Okay, I just want to make that very clear in my data. I know this is controversial, y'all, because this is like, there's got to be a reason that the media and the governments are letting this be known. I'm just saying, because I think this has probably gone on for a long time. This is what I'm picking up. This is my opinion. This doesn't mean anything to anybody except for myself. Okay. I want everybody who's watching to come up with your own conclusions with all of this. I'm simply telling you my data and then I'm giving you my opinion. Okay. And this is my opinion. I feel like these things have been here and these things have been going on for a long time. I think that people, like I said, this is my opinion. I think people have been attacked, kidnapped, taken in, eaten. Okay. Because these things are actually eating people. Okay. It's just the truth of it. And I know you don't like these topics, Barry. It's rough.
That's what it is, you know.
But it is what it is. And let's just say, okay, this is a commercial break.
That's what demons do, not extraterrestrials. It's more of a demon thing. You know, I can't get past that enough. Let's keep going though.
Okay,
you know, I mean, it's not. This has been in the past. There's been just demons. If you're quote unquote, I guess a Bible study, a Christian study, or whatever, it states it, and so does the Vedas. It states how there were just demons walking around here, eating people. It's coming back to that again. So I mean, it's very depressing. But I'll tell you also, and I think that a lot of this is being done to really hijack the contact experience itself, along with the attempt to hijack our oversouls. So we'll talk about that more later.
Okay, it is. Okay, I think it's also, we need to be very aware that there's an agenda right now. And this is my opinion. This is a commercial break. I'm going to take a little commercial break. All right. Because I feel like there is an agenda to keep us living in fear. And what is like the biggest fear ever is something that's going to eat us that we cannot control. Okay. So this is my commercial break. This is not my data. I just want people to think about this. Because whatever's happening in Peru could very easily start happening in the United States. Okay. And I'm not saying it's going to, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I'm just saying be prepared, everybody. Because what I picked up on was like, this is soft disclosure. Okay. These are aliens in my data. Okay. And it could be coming to a town near us at some point. Okay. That was in my data. Okay. So I picked up, it's in the underground. They're coming from underground. They're here. They're feeding on people. Okay. And it's not good. All right. And what I was seeing looked very much like that ET that was in my room. Okay. One night, one of the ETs that I've experienced. That's what I was seeing when I was remote viewing. Okay. It even had on the cloak and everything. All right. So that's what I saw the first attack, or for the overall view of like what these things are. They're not men in jetpacks. They're actual ETs. Okay. And they're in Peru. I think they've been there for a long time. For whatever reason, we are being shown them now. And I think it's to scare us. Okay. We're being allowed to see this because it's time. I think it's part of a bigger agenda. Okay. Now, and I'm sorry, y'all. And I know this is graphic, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. And, but I did want to, I'm just putting it out there. I'm putting it out there, Barry. Okay, so the next target was the young woman who was like 15 years old who had her neck gash. Okay, so that's the second target. I picked up on this target, and you can see all my data. I cannot talk about all this because it's kind of gory and it's gross. It's one of those things where whatever's doing this was either instructed to do it or they were given permission to do it. Okay. It's almost like you hear about, was it Eisenhower, Barry, that was like, that made a deal with the ETs that they could take humans for experimentation in return that we get their technology. It was almost like one of those types of things in this data. That's what I was picking up on. It was almost like they were given permission. It was almost ritualistic, and they're able to take people. Yeah. They're able to take people hostage because someone made a pact with them. Okay. And either made a pact and was like, okay, y'all can do this for exchange of something else. Or I don't know. They're taking people hostage. Okay. And there's a lot of blood involved. Let's just say there's a lot of blood, and it has something to do with, I guess they eat on them. I know. I'll just be very frank. Okay. And so that's what I picked up on in that data. This is so bad, y'all. I'm so sorry. I know one of the last targets we did was like butterfly people. Like I try to throw in some good stuff, and this one's very dark. But in the end, it's very dark.
Into dark stuff. I'm just kidding. Yeah, just kidding.
Yes. I did. Well, you know what? You're best equipped to talk about this with me, though, Barry. And that's why I wanted you here tonight. So I'm sorry. I know we're protected and directed in the light. Okay. And yeah, it's going to be okay. All right. Because we're exposing what's happening, and that way maybe we can change it. Okay. Or at least be aware of what's going on so that we can protect ourselves. And that's all I ask for. Honestly, that's why I like doing these remote viewing shows. I never know what kind of targets I'm going to get. But it seems like ultimately, like Barry, even you do a lot of these shows with me, and ultimately we're able to instruct people on how to protect themselves from all this stuff. Okay. And I think that's part of the reason that we're doing this right now is for that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. Okay. Why don't we show some pictures before I go forward? Let's show a few pictures. Give me just a second to get my computer to work. Okay, here we are. I'm already on it. Okay, because Peru, you mentioned earlier, Barry, that Peru is a hotbed of activity, and they have what we call the Nazca lines. Mm-hmm. What are the Nazca lines exactly?
To me, they look like two things. I think that they're landing strips, and I think they also might be a type of star map. kind of similar to some of the ancient cave drawings. Some of them that look like aliens on
Okay.
there are actually star maps showing where black holes, makos are. You know, some of those look like aliens. If you take what the picture of two black holes merging looks like, look at those and then look at some of those pictures on some of those ancient, like especially the cave drawings from France. They look quite similar.
Okay.
You think it's an alien, you're looking at a gray or something, but is it? Is that a map, an area of space where you've got converging black holes that's being used for, you know, several things, including getting
Okay.
here, obviously. Anyway,
Yeah.
but
Portals.
sorry.
Portals.
Yeah, you asked me
We
about
talk
that.
about
That's
portals
just
a
what
lot.
that's kind of what those lines always kind of take me to, and what I thought they've been for, along with just being a landing strip too for
Okay.
ancient vehicles.
Yes, super interesting. I agree with you. I think that that's what they are too, because you can only see them from up high. I mean, you can only really make out what they are from way up high. Okay, so before we go any further, I do have one more target to go over, and it's the really gory one. Okay, so I want to show everybody. We mentioned that the media is putting out that these are men in jetpacks. So what do they start releasing to the public? Is a young woman who videoed allegedly a minor on it with a jetpack. Okay, and here's the picture. All right, let's see when this comes up. My computer is like so slow. Okay, so this is what she's showing. She said that they say that she took this picture, and it's like a man with a jetpack. Now that looks like a human with a jetpack right there. Now that's
What's up
not
with
really
the boots? Those are boo boots. What's up with the boots?
That's right. It's like Napoleon Dynamite. That's Napoleon Dynamite with a jetpack over in Peru.
Not
It's
to be
just
funny, but it
cartoonish,
reminds me
though,
of
right?
those boots that character Astro Boy wears. Those big red boots.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were actually selling those.
yeah.
People were
Mickey
wearing
Mouse.
those. They had to get those cut off if they were wearing them too long because something they were sticking to people. Yeah, it became like a health hazard or something. Okay, sorry. Let's get back to this picture with the Astro Boy boots.
Okay. Yeah, so they were having to cut those off. They look like they're made out of foam or something. Okay. Okay. So, anyways, this is it. Now, Barry, what are the chances or what are the odds of the government, let's say the government, or dare I say, the NWO or something like that, or the CABAL? I don't know if I even need to say that word on my show. I've said it before and I didn't get shut down. But who's to say like that this is not like some kind of psyop, okay, and this is like something that they paid this girl like 100. Listen, y'all, I am not saying this happened. I'm just saying, what are the odds of them like handing the girl this phone and being like, here, hold this up, let's take a picture. So, and then they use this like, well, we're just putting this out there to try to throw the public off, to say this was a man in a jetpack. Is that too far-fetched?
Question: have you seen? All recently there was a little skit, a reel of the military practicing. It was at some college. The guy's flying around. He's doing several different things for audience of college kids. And
Okay.
it's a very advanced jetpack in terms of the way he's able to maneuver it and the sound it's making. And it doesn't look too unsimilar than that, with the exception of the foot platform there. So I mean, that's
Okay.
very easily could be what they're witnessing there, man-made technology. We got to throw that
That's
in there.
totally man-made. Okay, and this doesn't match what they said that the aliens had on their feet. They said they were like they had
Oh,
discs
it's a
on
red
their
disc.
feet. It was red discs. They had red lights on them, and they were discs, like the Green Goblin. They were comparing it to the Green Goblin from Spider-Man.
That's fascinating. During my contacts long ago, I was warned against red ships. They're
Oh,
telling me to be careful of red ships and avoid the red ships that they're trying to communicate with me. The ones
okay.
that stay red longer in our atmosphere than they should, according to the plasma chart. If you go to Google and pull up the plasma chart, it'll pull up a chart and it'll show you metals and plasmas and the colors that they display when in our atmosphere. And
Oh,
so that's a way you can identify some plasma craft. One phase they go through is red, but they were giving me the ones that stay red longer than they should, and continuously red, are normally not good. So
okay. amazing. Okay, I think this is an actual the picture. I mean, that looks more man-made to me. That looks like something that it's probably from like 1950. Okay, that our government has. You know that we got way better technology than that.
Yeah,
I mean,
the one the
that
guys
could
flying
be
around
the
those kids
cartel or
looks way
something.
more advanced than that. Yeah, yeah, that looks kind of like
Totally.
something that looks even worse than when we were like teenagers. There was that silly movie, The Rocketeer, and before
Yeah.
that, there was another movie where the guy would run, he'd jump, and he'd fly off. It was yeah.
Absolutely. That's just comical to me. That looks like cartoonish. Now, these are some of the people that I believe. So these are some of the villagers right here. Okay, and this is when they were talking about the young woman who had been gashed with their neck. I didn't put a picture of her up. The pictures are mostly blurred out because she's a miner. Okay, like a minor, not a miner, like a gold miner. All right, and so these are some of the people who've been attacked. You know, they say that some of the villagers don't sleep at night. Like they're scared to go to sleep at night, and it has been a serious situation down there. All right, so it's nothing to laugh at. Okay, but however, I do have to question those jetpack pictures. Okay, because the data that my data, like I can't argue with this data. Okay, it's talking about extraterrestrials and there's no mention of like miners or cartel or anybody dressing up in a suit or anything like that. That's nowhere in my data of any of these three targets. I actually okay, so let's go ahead and touch on the last target that I did. Okay, because that was the to me that's the most interesting because somebody sent me, okay, my buddy Informing Masses on Instagram. He sent me a video before any of this even came out that I know of a body that washed up on the river, I think down there. Now, it might have been a couple of months ago, and the face was completely surgically removed, apparently. Now, and there's a video of this. I did take some still shots and I will show like a viewer warning, you guys. Okay, this is graphic. I'm not going to show.
Homeboy on the beach, right?
It's on a beach. He was covered in banana leaves.
Talking about that one, right? Yeah.
He was covered in like banana leaves or something. I think that there's a shot that his body's kind of like rigor mortis a little bit with his arm. He'd been sitting there for just a minute after he died, but his face is like
skeleton.
Off. It's gone. Okay, I'm gonna do I'll show the audience quickly in case y'all haven't seen this. That's a picture of it. I'm not going to show the close-up that I have, but they picked him up. All right, we're gonna take that off. Some said that it was a piranha attack just on his face, which is not normal. If piranhas attack you, it's a group of them and they take you whole. Basically, it's not just your face. Like, was his face in the water and his body wasn't?
Unless you're bleeding in the water already, they don't even attack people. Jeremy Wade proved that. He jumped in with a bunch of piranhas. You got to already be bleeding or something.
Why would he do that?
Normally to take you, yeah, or struggling in a way that's gets him to attack you. Yeah, he swam with a bunch of piranhas a couple of times in the Amazon. Jeremy Wade, the crocodile or the river monster guy.
Oh, absolutely. Cryptidville, that's a good point. Is that there was a politician some years back who said this: if the American people knew what takes place in our country at night, they would be appalled and rise up against the government. I'm not calling for that, but I'm saying I agree with that statement. Absolutely. And I wanted to give a shout out to Jude, who sent a super chat tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. And also, I believe my buddy Long Island Bigfoot's in the chat tonight. He sent a super sticker as well. So thank you guys so much for your support. I really do appreciate that. Okay, so Barry, for this third target, this was this guy who had his face taken off. It piranhas? No, I didn't pick up on piranhas at all. Okay, so the first thing I heard, I audiently heard hidden in plain sight. I heard multiple offerings. It was a game of hide and seek. And I also picked up on the A word, the adrenalized blood. And everybody knows what that is. I was picking up on that, which is interestingly enough, when you go back and analyze the data, we're looking at a person whose face looks like it's been surgically removed. a lot of times they say that it has to do with that, let's just say adrenochrome. Okay. So I picked up on that, and this is the target where I got, this is the target that I got Draco reptilians. Okay. So I'm getting all this data for whatever this is. It's that guy on the beach with his face cut off. I also picked up on black goo. I don't know what that has to do with this target, but there's some kind of I got total annihilation in black goo. And I also picked up on cows and cattle. So that's interesting because this guy had been mutilated like a cow. Okay, so I cut this target short because I picked up on body parts in a drum, like in a big bucket. So that was gross. Okay, so I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at, but I don't want to look anymore. Okay, so that was really
exactly
gross.
what you're looking at. You're looking at demons
I know now.
feeding, and not just that, demons having fun. Hide and go seek with the dead body. Hey, that's great. That's great fun. That's demonic as it comes.
It is.
And it's that whole faction of our government and all this other that is just satanic. You're seeing it right there. They're releasing these creatures, whether these things have been here or not. They're cryptoterrestrials or whatever. They're releasing them, okay? And all this is this thing, this alien invasion, all this stuff. And the SSP and this mind control, these targeted individuals, this type of auditorial stuff they're sending out that's compromising the cerebral cortex. I mean, this stuff is out of control. You know, I shouldn't even say this, but I'm doing a video. I've quit doing videos for a while, but I'm doing one over this whole targeted individuals things. And also the technology that they're using to do it. Because I wanted to know, what is it when my experience is stopped as far as I'm being warned of things, like when I experienced that helmet, they're telling me, be careful that this technology has been corroded and perverted by lower vibrational civilizations and beings to trick people. I wonder what's the next part of that, or when they tell me about coming into this solar system, you hit this electrical type of scalar field that aids in losing your soul life memories. And in incarnating here, that's what we incarnate like this. And what was the next phase after that they incorporated to subdue people? And what I'm eyewitnessing right now is they're using those technologies and things like that. And this whole, you've got Big Brother, I better stop saying that word. They're trying to act like they're actually part of the contact experience itself. Like a lot of this is coming them. It's man-made.
It has.
And you've got the other part these target individuals are getting exposed to, which really, when you look at it, is an attempt to hijack the oversoul. That's what's going on here. You listen to Linda Moulton Howe. I know people got issues. Oh, she works for the Rockefellers. I don't care. Listen to the information she's bringing out. Okay, information-wise, she's been talking about a very long time, certain types of grays and ebens that are obsessed with what happens to humans, Homo sapiens, mortals, when we die. There's something wrong there. They're fascinated by it. And then you've got these others that are thought forms that are having to get bodies like what you're talking about right there to incarnate and walk around down here. And you know what I picked up psychically from these things, that these were some type of plasma beings that are being insulated by those suits. Okay?
Okay.
And that's why they're eating people, maybe for not just the enterochrome, but also the bioplasma. And that's what demon always needed. They always needed blood to manifest, yada yada. It's another faction of that. Sorry, I'm getting hyped because it sucks. It's disgusting, and it's a trip that this isn't the prison planet that I thought it is. Because it's all messed up down here. My God. And right now, what they're doing is hijacking all positive contact. Okay, is being completely skewed over by this. And I told you, as a child, I had a vision of seeing these Legion ships over probably about 20 major cities on this planet. And it changed things. It was only for 2 minutes and they were gone. And, then when the movie First Contact, Star Trek First Contact came out, that's similar to what I had seen. So I thought maybe it was going to definitely happen for real. But now I see things like this. They've completely averted that with this fake alien invasion. If those ships were to show up now, it'll be all-out war because everybody's psyched out now. It's really really too bad. So I see how they're jumping timelines as is right now through my own experiences.
Yeah.
Sorry, you
Okay.
saying something? I got too hyped. Sorry.
Okay, well, I'm going to take another commercial break too, because this is not in the data, but I did have a very interesting conversation with my friend Nick Sylvester right before we went on air tonight. And he and I were discussing the idea of potentially, since, because my data coincided with my remote viewing data, coincided with what he had been told. Okay. And so I was going down the list as he was telling me what he knew with everything I had in my data. And it completely melded together, you guys. It was actually, I was a little sad about it because I don't want to believe that we've got aliens eating people down there, and kidnapping people, but we have humans that do that too. You know what I mean? So,
Thanks. That makes me feel better.
we do. We have humans
how
doing
many
that
people
too.
did Dahmer eat? Dahmer ate about, was it 17 brothers? Yeah.
It's weird and disgusting. You're okay. So it's just, and I knew that you were not going to, this is not going to be a fun target tonight.
Well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And so we were prepared for it.
The observation of ritual blood sacrifice is still coming up, and you touched on it already in your data tonight.
Yeah. Absolutely. It comes up in a lot of these targets with cryptids. Any cryptid that like kills a person, we've got the adrenalized blood, we've got the rituals, we got, but these beings, whatever these are, these Draco reptilians and insectoids, whatever these things are, they are some sort of like ET, but they live in the earth, like an inner earth potentially, according to the data. Yeah, it's they're
a question. What do you think they are? As far as, okay, we say extraterrestrial, but they could also be interdimensional. But what do you think that they are? Multidimensional, excuse me. What do you think they actually are?
Well, I picked up, these are like 3D flesh and bone, okay, flesh and blood beings. They potentially could be interdimensional, but what does that even mean? Like, they could easily go in and out of portals. I mean, anything can come in and out of a portal. But I wasn't picking up on all that. I mean, I didn't go deep enough into the targets because I didn't know what this was anyway. So
I might have phrased it correctly. What do you think they are biologically? Do you think they're insects? Do you think they're insects underneath those suits?
I picked up on two. I picked up on insectoid humanoids in the first target. The third target, I picked up on Draco reptilians. So that tells me there's different ones.
Oh, fascinating. You know what I just started picking up all of a sudden? And it's interesting. I just talked to him for a second today. We were texting. Tony, when I did that, I was on Tony's show and it disappeared or something. But during that, we started talking about insectoids. And he talked about a type of insectoid he'd encountered that was from Mars, that was a type of a mantis, and it was very hostile. And he had an illustration of it. I did. There's a couple of videos on my channel that are maybe 2 months old, 3 months old. They're insectoids 1 and 2. Check those out. They're pictures that one of those has got the pictures that Tony gave me on there. And it's interesting. Okay. So when we start talking about these negative faction, these hostiles, I mean, it's nothing's a separate classifications we want anyway. So.
Yeah. Okay. You're referring to Tony Rodriguez, and he was a super soldier in the secret space program. Just put out a book called Project Star Maker. You guys check that out. And yeah, super interesting stuff. Very knowledgeable. Okay, on all these topics here. Thank you, Alien Universe. I love this pod. Sometimes it needs to be more out there and serious. Yeah, we talk about. Listen, we're touching on.
What are we talking about? This
topics.
Not serious. Yeah, what are we talking about? This not serious. That's a joke.
No, we're talking about some serious stuff. But this is out there. It is out there. And but listen, like I do with a lot of these cryptids that I talk about, a lot of the things that I bring up in all of my shows, it's to inform the public. Okay, because I do a lot of boots on the ground. Yes, I'm boots on the ground. Okay. Boots on the ground field researcher, and I'm out there a lot. I mean, like I said, I just came back from Montauk, New York, where we were out there. Long Island Bigfoot was out there with me, and yes, Barry drops knowledge bombs Long Island Bigfoot for sure.
Hey, thank
And
you. Appreciate that.
yeah, and
Thanks, man.
so we're out there. We're putting ourselves in the middle of the mix of portals opening. My team
Weaponized
has
sun.
documented portals,
Weaponized sun. I mean,
teleportation stuff. We're out there. We're doing it. You know, like we're in the middle of all this and trying to get some answers and experience this stuff for
one
ourselves.
day
And
I'll
I'm
give
here to
you a
report it
blind
back.
target to some angels, and I hope you
I
don't come
already
back
got
saying
some.
they're underground facility cats. Oh,
No,
I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
no.
Sorry.
I did the I
Bad joke.
did
Bad humor.
that one target was the butterfly people of Missouri. So that was a good one. That was super nice. And I think the
Surfing
audience
sometimes.
appreciated that. But see, this
Surfing.
is a hot topic. I think that's why this is the target. We're doing targets that the audience is suggesting, and so this is a great target. Okay, super great target. It is dark, y'all, but so is life, and we're living in a
But
really freaking weird time.
but now at least you know it's real.
Mhm.
And I guarantee you that if it is happening in the United States, you probably wouldn't have heard about it yet. Just like you didn't
Yeah.
hear about that place in where was it? Oh gosh, it's been years ago now in Texas. This ship came down and these brothers came out of it. And it's not the thing that Norman Bergen is talking about in that shipyard. It's not that. This is a city. This ship landed and these very tall brothers came out. And I think actually several species may have come out, but they're just walking around the town talking to people for like several hours.
Oh
That
yeah.
was a few years ago, and I kept hearing about stuff like that happening in like private meetings and stuff. That was even prior to me coming out in 2014. I was hearing stuff like that in 2011 after my accident.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. People were also comparing this to the ETs that were spotted in Las Vegas. Do you remember that, Barry? There was
Yeah.
there were people that went out. I think they had like there were some tractors out in their yard, like they worked on heavy machinery or cars, and they said that there were tall grays basically in their backyard. Now there were some CGI videos that came out that were a little suspicious. But then there was one video of it looked like a tall gray that was like ducking behind one of the tractors, I think.
The
And
tractor one that
the
looked pretty
tractor
real to
one
me.
that looked pretty real to me. Okay, but I never got that as a target, so I don't know if that was real or not. But I'd say that looked pretty real.
And something else. Look at this, and I think maybe as far as asking that, I wonder what Brown Dorf thinks about that because he did a lot of work on that on the other one, the Vegas one. I'd like to see what he thinks about the similarity. And, also that video you had sent me made a comparison between that and the beings that Phil Snyder said he had a battle with under Earth in one of the bases they were making. There's some similarities there all the way around. And something that does stand out is that each account has described, that I've seen anyway, has described these beings as being very tall, 7 feet plus. And that takes
7
us
feet.
into that,
That's right.
that other type of a quote unquote gray that they're calling ebens, and the taller ones. And they're not the
Oh,
tall whites, but they're different. These ebens, they're some
okay.
type of a gray that supposedly maybe slightly insectoid, but they're also making these bots that are the smaller grays. It makes you
Okay.
wonder, like as far as this is quote unquote the Adam Cadmon, the humanoid form. That's what they call it, the Adam Cadmon.
Okay.
Like when you start
Okay.
dealing with these biological robots that come into industrialized civilizations like ours, is that one of the major forms for the biobots? Is these gray forms? It's very
Ooh,
worthy
good
because
question.
when I had an encounter, and you've seen my illustrations, I had encountered these beings. They didn't say where they're from Andromeda, but on the spiral, but they were Andromedans, is what came through. Okay, and these guys were blue, and they were little. When I say they were little, they were like knee high to me. Okay, but they looked similar, at least the way the grays anatomically it looked like that, but they were blue. And
Oh
people have
wow.
asked me, well, did they feel like robots to you? No, I felt emotions coming off these things. Does that mean they were doing their job? But I felt emotions. I felt caring towards me, caring for what they were doing.
Okay.
And does that mean they weren't a type of cyborg? No, it doesn't. But they felt like living beings to me. Okay.
Okay.
Food for sorry, that's getting off topic. Sorry, I should be
Yeah.
talking. That's nothing to do with
Flesh and blood, whatever. Yeah. I mean, these are 3D. Whatever the when I was remote viewing these, yes, blind targets. I saw somebody ask if it was a blind target. Yes. Um, I was seeing flesh and blood, flesh and bone. I didn't pick up any kind of interdimensional stuff. I was picking up on inner earth. Okay. There was inner earth, like was in the AOL data. Okay. That's analytic overlay for people who aren't familiar with remote viewing. So, very interesting. Okay. Very interesting. Um, I don't know, Barry. I have to, like I said in the beginning or like in the middle of the show, I was kind of putting it out there. And this is something that Nick and I had discussed. And I believe it was President Reagan had mentioned that it would take an alien invasion to bring us all together, right? To us to all become one, and us fight against these crazy aliens that we can't protect ourselves against. Well, what if this is like one of the final cards, and Peru is like the soft disclosure, and they've been, because my data was suggesting that whatever this is has been either instructed to come out and do this, or they were given permission to do it. Okay, so is it time? I mean, what do you think?
You drew some conclusions between this, the face missing, and the counter mutilations, right?
Yes, I did.
Somebody, I think people are asking, like, there's no type of instrument that could do that, and yada yada yada. Yes, there is. There's a human device called the acoustic scalpel. Look that up. The acoustic scalpel takes pieces out without making any burned cartilage. It does a lot of things that the
sounds gross.
It's newer technology, but it does a lot of the things that they're saying is seen in the cattle mutilations. Yeah, the acoustic scalpel. So again, we're seeing these beings obviously have other technology. They've got the nice little red disc underneath there. So I mean, that's anti-levitation. This is technology that's very interesting.
Yes, it is interesting.
It really does poke to that crypto-terrestrial thing, which would still involve extraterrestrial genetics.
Yeah,
and anybody
absolutely.
That's a book by Mac Toonies, Toonnies. It's called Cryptoterrestrials. He put that book out and then died under weird circumstances. But he says the cryptoterrestrials live right here on Earth with us, with technology superior to us, and they really use the decoy of extraterrestrial encounters and extraterrestrial presence to mask themselves right here within the inner Earth and within our own societies. Our own societies.
Gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what does the future hold for us right now, Barry? I mean, if this is happening, do you feel in your gut? Because I go with my gut now.
SHIT.
Oh God, that's not good.
I wish I could tell you it was balloons and rainbows and Skittle candy, but it's not. I mean, everything we see is an attempt to destroy this place, to keep us on at least the track for nuclear war and a way to get humanity and Homo sapien officially no more the stewards of this planet. Hell, we might even be on it anymore, the way they're playing this. And we're only helping them through free will. And I'm hoping that this is what's about to change. And what we're seeing now is this battle right now is part of that. And something's going to change here. Because right now, the positive encounters like I had are just not only not discussed, it's like just dismissed. The information Ray Hernandez has, which is thousands and thousands CCRI of information. And, recently he was talking about how people were trying to get his information away from him and trying to actually take all CCRI's information, trying to give him deals to get information off him so it could be suppressed. And there's so much that is positive on the data he recorded that we don't hear about at all, because there's so many people getting hit with this super soldier, this acoustic spotlight, and these other micro heating of the body, micro heating, and these things they're doing to actually put voices in people's minds. It goes on and on, along to tagging people through these chemtrails, with extra nano dust and all this weird stuff they're doing.
Yeah.
turning people into superconductors. What?
Yeah, into robots. Okay, not to mention the things that people got a couple years ago. Got a little pokey there. You know what I mean? And no telling what went in everybody's bodies. Unfortunately. So, but this show's not about that. However, it's all connected. It kind of is, though, right?
It's a way to hijack the contact scenario. Right now, anybody that is having contact, a lot of people having contact, hear stuff like that in Peru, what's going on, they're going to take, not to call this brother out, they're going to take the viewpoint that Marquise takes. I was listening to a show he was doing with you, and he talked about not wanting to explore his contact. That's cool. You know what I mean? But I mean, what we're seeing right now happening only reinforces his thought process, and anyone like that. You know, you having something happen like, oh my gosh, what if it was these things trying to eat me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a very real fear. So
are you saying that people should share their stories? Is that what kind of where you're going with it?
You mean about contact?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. That's why. That's one reason I came forward. Because if not, this place is finished. We're never going to step forward into a Type 1 civilization hoping that we see disclosures through TikTok videos or the TikTok UFO. I don't care about that. Or the guy that just came forward, the great whistleblower. They're reverse engineering alien craft. Well, no crap. That's obvious. Anybody who's been in this, and for those of us that have had contact, that is 50,000 years ago. We've got to go forward more. Like what you're doing here, what all these shows are doing, people able to talk about this like I do. Because I'm not special. You're not special either. We're contactees, but we're not special.
I'm not special at all.
We're just unique, but everybody who's had experiences is unique because they're all different.
They're all different.
But it's so common right now. Like I've said 1,000 times, I thought somewhere between 70 and 80% of our population has had contact, and most of it is superconscious or subconscious. I couldn't prove it, but the platform I've been given now, nothing I've met has discouraged that at all. You know, and this is the time for us to start coming forward and really push this into Type 1 civilization. There are other species out there that they're trying to help within the free will zone. Things like I talked about, the fungus, the mushrooms, the radiotropic fungus, able to combat radiation cleanup. And there are other little things that are popping up right now. Some of the creatures that are in the thermal vents, check them out. Okay. It's very, very interesting. So I'll leave it there. But we can't see that all the negative stuff, which is the primary thing down here. This is a place where a demon walked around like you and me. They incarnate like you and me, and they destroy this place. And they take joy in it. You just heard what you said. They're enjoying in hiding a dead body from people, from loved ones. That's demonic as it comes.
Yeah, there's a good bit of that. Hey, I was just at Montauk, where there was the home of the Project Montauk, and I was with a lot of survivors of those programs, and it was rough, but thank goodness on their behalf, it was very healing to go there, and we actually all had very positive experiences there after we got there. Just to try to heal that land and all the energy. So there is hope in all this. I know I know there's a lot of bad, negative stuff going on out there, but I always try to see the positive side in things. If there is a positive side or some way to heal the situation in some way, even in the slightest little way.
Hey, question. When you went by that Montauk laboratory, did you feel anything like currents in the time waves or anything weird like that? What
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so if you go to my Facebook page, you guys can find all my pictures, a lot of my pictures. I snuck in there. Okay, we all were kind of climbing through holes in the fence and stuff. We went up to the radar tower. I think I brought home a chunk of that radar. I hope it's not radioactive. Okay, but yeah, it was a lot of trauma happened there, and you can feel it. It's palpable. It's a lot of trauma, a lot of sadness, a lot of torture and mind control stuff, and it was not a happy place. Okay, it's not a happy place, and I absolutely picked up on it. I felt it. So yeah, we didn't spend all of our time at Camp Hero though, so I wasn't there the whole time. But we were there a good bit. I was actually out doing some Bigfooting with Long Island Bigfoot, who's in the chat tonight. We were out there doing Bigfooting.
Where can we see the picture of this Bigfoot, the video of this Bigfoot? You didn't tell us.
I don't know. It may have it on his channel. I don't know if he's posted it yet, but there's a video. And yeah, it's on his channel. Go to Long Island Bigfoot on YouTube, y'all.
Long Island Bigfoot. Okay.
Go to Long Island Bigfoot. It's either in a short or on a video, I believe. So it's there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can clearly see it. Okay, so I have a question in the chat. Tewaz asked, Jessica, do you feel threatened doing this remote viewing?
That's a good question.
No. I could, but I don't. You know what? I have quit being scared of anything, and I put information out there because I can, and I want to, and I'm not scared. I'm not going to let people stop me. Now, I do have a healthy dose of respect. Yes, I have gotten a proverbial knock at my door one time, and yes, I did back off of that target. It was the Apollo 11 moon landing. But
jump back on it, man. Get back on it.
I'm good.
So I'm just teasing you.
We're
just
not doing
teasing
that
you, Jones.
I'm not doing that one. But no, I don't. You know, I have come to an interesting point in my life to where I'm doing what I feel is right. Okay, and that's what I'm doing. And that's
important.
Yes.
You're enjoying it.
And I'm enjoying it. Yeah. And I don't have a whole lot of fear, if y'all hadn't noticed. Okay. I have a lot of respect, but I don't have a lot of fear. I've been to hell and back several times. And so there's not a whole lot that can scare me. And I do this because I love it and I want to share it with everybody. And yeah, it's making me feel a little emotional right now. So I'm going to move on. Okay. But yeah, there's okay, so this is another valid point, Gavin. Gavin's in the chat. He says, I think they're trying to fool us so they can do a world order, a new world order. And I do believe that as well. I think that is a large part of what Nick and I talked about tonight, Nick Sylvester. It does seem as though after analyzing this data, I believe that, yeah, there's something bigger coming potentially. And this is just like getting everybody's toes wet in the disclosure of these aliens. I did pick up, they were ordered to do this, whatever they're doing down there. They either were given permission or ordered to do it. It's out there in the public now. So like, it's going to be in our psyches. And so what if, let's just potentially say, what if they do this more widespread around the world, potentially the United States? What if they start going mainstream with this, like human mutilations? I mean, it seems like there's a large
it's close to that already. It's
right now.
It's just more sporadic. You've got your cave bear, whatever you call that thing.
The zombie bear?
Zombie bear.
Yeah.
You've got these cryptids popping up, killing people in these little spots quite a bit. You know, it's just a matter of how much more frequent does it become.
Yes, correct.
That's a shame.
Oh. Yeah. So I'm just saying, you guys put on your seatbelts. We're in for a wild ride. We're in for a wild ride, especially with this. You know, you want to think like with all the things that they've fooled us with, you think, well, this can't be real. These aren't real aliens. There's no way. Well, that's not what the data suggests.
Can I say something? I see a comment over here. It says the dark mantids eat people, but mantids of light are angelic. Careful with that statement. And the reason why I want to say that is because you don't hear about the black praying mantis of Melon. Just like you have a black praying mantis on this planet, you've got those out there that are in the Triangulum galaxy that are melanated mantids. And they have hybrids here that walk around that are part of the black extraterrestrial phenomenon. Okay, and they're the taller brothers that have the extra joint with the triangles. They look oftentimes like either basketball players or maybe even Moors, the way they dress. But that's something just to say, you know, black mantids. You can't just say that. And more than that, these black praying mantises operate on the electromagnetic frequency. They're very electromagnetic. So that's just something. I just wanted to bring that up. We can't always say just black and light. You know what I mean? It's not always.
Thank you, Chris. That's a cool statement. I appreciate that comment. Something else, Barry, that I found was really interesting is they described these aliens, which I do agree. I think they're aliens. That's what the data says. I was looking at some aliens. They say that they are like the predator and they have that cloaking technology, that cloaking ability where it looks like some people call it the glimmer man or whatever. And I've actually seen this out in the field where it looks like something's made of water or like you can just see it in the atmosphere.
That's interesting.
But it's just like a ripple in the atmosphere in a human form or like a cryptid form or something like that.
Well, you know who else does that?
Who does that?
Sasquatch. Some
I
folks,
know, that's what I was
some of them,
saying.
you
I
know,
see
and when
that out in
dealing
the
with the
field.
and when dealing with these gugwees, what I've always said about them, it's just my opinion, okay, that there's
Okay.
some type of a hybrid that's been put out to completely discredit the Sasquatch. You know, the other ones
Okay.
that you got these other types, but the
Yeah.
gugwe are unnatural to a degree. And only until recently have I started hearing them hunting in packs and being in clans. That's the first I've heard of that until recently. So, just,
Okay.
food for thought on that. And just when you're dealing with whatever these labs are that have been around for millions of years, probably underground, that are making these different, say the word for me because I never say it right.
Chimera.
Chimeras, yeah,
Gosh, how did I know you were
chimeras.
going to say that?
You're very intuitive. But you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
So it's fascinating.
Yeah,
And by the way, hey,
absolutely.
that comment up there, I don't want that person to feel like I was criticizing. I did not mean it like
Okay.
that.
We'll
I
see.
was just
Yeah,
saying that
let's see
just
here.
another fact of the dark mantids and the light
Okay.
mantids. Sometimes, there can be the taller ones that are like almost
Okay.
like 20 feet tall, and they often have described themselves as being the cedars of solar systems,
Right.
and some of them even claim to be the cedars of galaxies. And we deal with the concept, as Uranta book calls them, the life carriers that seed life
Okay.
everywhere. We don't know
Okay.
what evolution containers for consciousness they might go through. Is the insectoid form one of them? Food for thought.
Absolutely. Totally. You said cedars, and I thought that was in my data, but then I looked down and it said feeders, actually. So not cedars, rhymes.
And they grub
Yeah,
on, man, on people.
absolutely. Oh
Oh,
my gosh. Yes. Okay. So y'all, my StreamYard is like not really keeping up with comments tonight. I thought I was doing really good, but then I saw that they quit showing me the comments at 9:08. So it's 9:14. So StreamYard is not giving me my comments. So, but I can see it on my phone. I know you guys are like making comments about cloaking and things like that. I'm just not able to pull them up on the screen tonight. Maybe StreamYard will catch up. But yeah. So the cloaking, these aliens are cloaking some sort of technology. They look like the Green Goblins. They have predator capabilities. Okay. The cloaking. They're riding around on not jetpacks, but some kind of discs in their shoes. And they have on full body armor. Go figure, right?
pretty
And
interesting.
they're eating people. So
And now, thanks to Tony, they wonder if they have any Mars connection too.
I didn't pick up on any of that. I picked up on Inner Earth.
Inner Earth, yeah. And
Inner
well,
Earth,
where the genetics they used in the Inner Earth lab. That's kind of what that is, isn't
probably.
it? Interesting. This is very interesting. The suit thing I find interesting. The Green Goblin fluorescent type of appearance. That's to
Yeah,
startle. That's tapping into entertainment. That's tapping into the subconscious, trying to generate a fear.
that's right. That's
It
exactly what is going on here.
starts with
It
negative thoughts.
Very
That's how they
well.
start
It's scaring
feeding.
everybody. And I want my audience to be very clear that I have no intention. I don't want any of us to be scared of this stuff. Okay. I don't live in fear. If y'all notice, I go out and I live in the moment, and I have a kid. So like I'm very self-aware. Okay. But I also know that there, there's more to this life. Okay. Than just waking up every morning and being a slave to the system in a sense, uh, there's a whole lot going on around us, and I think it's important that we're all aware of it. The manipulation, okay, and the fear mongering, and the
There's a
aliens.
lot of that. Jeez, there's a lot of
Barry,
that.
Barry, we got aliens. Okay, we got aliens. These are real, according to the data. So, yeah, just be aware. Okay, don't live in fear, but just be aware. These aliens have been around for a long time. Okay, they've been around for a long time, probably longer than we have. I'm just saying.
That's pretty easy. That's
Yeah,
pretty easy. Like I said before, look at the things that changed immensely about 9,800 years ago.
yeah,
That's when this planet changed severely.
yeah,
On the fossil record, it shows it.
absolutely. Yeah, Donna, I can't pull your comment up, but Donna says negative thoughts only provide fuel to evil pet and things. Yeah, to evil stuff. Yeah, so try not to be. scared. Listen, that's why we're out here putting out the information. So we are the disclosure for a lot of this stuff. Okay. Now with the data, I want everybody to think for yourselves. I'm not putting all this out there as like, this is the fact and we're going to write it in history books. This is remote viewing. Okay. And we're analyzing this data tonight. I get a whole bunch of data and all we can do is kind of analyze it and put it out there. And that's what we're doing. It's for entertainment purposes only. Okay, right, Barry?
Yes, absolutely. That's why I laugh so much. Entertainment.
Yeah. It's entertainment. Okay.
Just murder. No, just kidding.
Just human burgers.
Yeah, just cannibalism and dark forces taking over the galaxy, the empire.
Yeah.
What would Yoda say? My God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, so just take it with a grain of salt and just be aware. And if this starts popping up and more in mainstream, you know why. It's because it's planned, kind of. Okay, and I know that sounds crazy. It's planned. Yeah,
it's a hijacking.
It's part of a bigger plan.
If you think like the light and dark war, all this will stop those light things from coming in, or at least or make it hard to discern what is light. Very interesting. I mean, it's and we're getting just smashed with it, pummeled with it.
Yeah.
And that tells you things are definitely about to boil over, aren't they?
Yes. Well, things are coming. I don't know. Everything's coming to a head. It's like you think like things can't get worse, but then it's like, oh wow, it's got way worse. I don't know. So like, stay positive, everybody. Stay positive. Okay. As positive as we can, and you know we can't do a whole lot to stop what's going on or whatever, but we can just be aware of it. And I think that's the first line of defense is just being aware of what people are doing, what the people in charge are doing, and whoever's in charge. Honestly, we're in charge. Okay, we're in charge. We need to take control of like the narrative on our own. I don't go with these narratives that are put out there. And so I guess that's why we're doing the show tonight, Barry.
Captain Kirk and Kobayashi Maru. He cheated. It was already set up. It was how he became like how he got into Starfleet. He cheated this program. It was set up to where the ship could not possibly get out of this situation. It would be destroyed no matter what. So it was an unwinnable situation, and he cheated and reprogrammed the computer. So
we're reprogramming the computer tonight.
He said he cheated. He said it really didn't because it was already a cheat, and I don't believe in the unwinnable scenario.
That's right. Hey, the light always beats out the dark, and we're gonna love wins, right? And so just stay on a high vibration, y'all. I'm seeing some really good questions in the chat, and I know I can't pull them up on the screen because StreamYard has totally frozen up on me. So let me just read them off, and I'll say their names. Okay, so we got Corey Cole says something funny. Remember to try and taste as bad as possible. And then C Duke said, "Yeah, eat some garlic. Everybody eat garlic so we taste bad."
You know, I just went and saw that movie.
Funny.
By the way.
Yes, that's right.
Good. The Voyage of the Demeter. I went and saw that over the weekend.
Yes. Okay. Also, so we got Cryptid. I like that name, Cryptid. Question, Jessica, have you seen death cryptids on the moon when you remote viewed the moon? I saw a lot of weird crap up there. Okay. I saw some weird stuff up there. I didn't see death cryptids. I'm not sure what that is. So I don't know. I can't say yes or no. So I'm not sure what a death cryptid is.
I never heard of that.
There were some interesting things though. I did go there. I just can't talk about it publicly. Okay. Yes. So Cryptidville has a good comment too. Cryptidville says we have to keep them from getting us to help them create the reality that they want. Thank you. Gosh, I wish I could pull that up on the screen. That's a great statement.
Did you reread that?
When these narratives that are being pushed out there. Absolutely. Yes. Cryptidville said we have to keep them from getting us to help them create the reality that they want.
True.
Absolutely. When the narratives are put out there, that is going into the collective consciousness that therefore is in our minds, and that is our reality. That's what they want our reality to be. We're living in fear and we are projecting that reality. Okay. If we can not project that reality Do not comply. Do not accept that reality that they're throwing at us. And we create our own beautiful reality, a higher vibrational reality, a high vibration where we're not having to deal with aliens that are going to come eat us. Screw those aliens. What? Don't comply with these things that they're putting out in the public. It's not in our reality, y'all. It's not my reality. I'm not going to get eaten by a daggum alien. That's not my reality. I don't comply. So I'm just saying. Thank you, Cryptoville. That was beautiful. Amy said, eat asparagus. It'll definitely make your pee stink. I'm just saying. Okay. That was a lot. But anyways.
Anyways, Barry. A little there. Okay.
Okay. Well, this was a great show tonight, Barry. Do you have any final thoughts on these aliens in Peru? What is your final thought?
I say everybody keep researching it, keep looking into it, keep your ears tuned in, but keep protecting yourself all the time. I mean, on this planet, several times a day, protect yourself. You've got these negative entities all over the place down here. You've got earthbound spirits floating around with a larger population than the living, I think. So just, please keep protected and, try to stay a high vibration. Because I think we've got a lot of audience members out here that have contacted their own, and they're not everybody's having negative contact, but trying to sort through this to where we don't influence it with our own, kind of dream scenario or our own dreamscape. It's hard.
It is. It is. But we're in this together, y'all. We're in this together, Barry. And I'm here for everybody. We're all here for each other. And these are some interesting times. And and I feel my heart goes out to everybody affected down in Peru. And it's I can't imagine living in fear like that with my children, and my family. It's got to be really difficult, and it's really horrible for whoever's in charge of doing all this stuff. They should be ashamed of themselves. That's all I got to say. But that's coming from a mama, and I'm a mama. All right. Well, this has been an amazing show, Barry. Thank you so much for joining me. And
thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. These targets just get better every day, and I like doing these hot topic targets too. Things that are in the media. I think these are important. So yeah. Thanks again. Thank you for all your work, Barry. Where can people find you? Tell my audience about your YouTube and your Patreon.
I'm on Patreon under Barry Littleton. Got to do some more stuff on there. And then YouTube's a real good place to find me. Barry Littleton on YouTube. Please subscribe. Help me beat that shadow ban algorithm. If you do go to that channel, my channel on YouTube, please check out the playlist. There's so much that comes up underneath the categories there that won't come up otherwise. So. Oh, absolutely. One other thing. I'll be speaking on the 10th, 11th, and 12th at Las Vegas at the Stairway to Heaven conference with Jimmy Church and them. I'll be looking forward to that. Alexis Brooks too. It'll be fun. So.
Awesome. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited. I wish I could be there for that. That's going to be a great conference, Barry. Yeah. You're so deserving of having a good spot there. So good for you. Super excited. Yeah. Oh, hey, listen, I'm going to be speaking at the Molina Bigfoot Festival, y'all. Down in Middle Georgia. That's I think it's November the 18th. So y'all come down and see me if you're in Georgia. That's going to be a fun conference. I was there last year. It was one of my favorite Bigfoot conferences, or actually it wasn't a conference. It was a festival down there. They have the Elkins Creek Bigfoot down there. So that was just added to my calendar. So y'all come see me in November. I'll remind y'all. I know it's only August, so I'll be reminding y'all in the future. But also, y'all come hang out with me this weekend on Spaced Out Radio. I'll be there at 10 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday night. All right. Okay. Well, you guys are awesome. I want to thank Jude and Long Island Bigfoot for the super stickers tonight. You guys are the best. I love all of y'all. I love everybody. Thank y'all so much for everything. And Barry, you're the best. You always bring all the knowledge.
Oh, thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure every time. You got a great audience, and it's wonderful being here. So thank you.
Awesome.
It's good work.
Okay.
It's very good, worthy work.
Absolutely. And like I said, if you guys want to see all my data, it's on my Patreon, the Cryptid Huntress. Shout out to all my Patreon members. Y'all are the best. All right. Well, I will see y'all this weekend, Barry. I'll see you next time. I hope you have a wonderful night. I'll see
Hey,
y'all
you too.
soon.
Take care.
Bye, y'all.